Genetic data from the early Neolithic has helped archaeologists understand that there was likely more freedom and equality in Neolithic societies than previously thought. Unsurprisingly, newspapers that have covered this new research have rushed to apply modern terminology to its conclusions, saying it demonstrates a lack of sexism among Neolithic farmer societies. Cutting through the spin, let's see what the study actually says. Researchers have long known that our human ancestors migrated from the Near East into Europe and brought farming with them, but a new study led by experts from the universities of York, Vienna and Harvard has shown that this mobility continued throughout the Neolithic, with people networked over large areas. This means that Neolithic groups did not just spread out into neighbouring areas over time, but travelled vast distances, with genetic data showing that some individuals lived far away from family members, painting a more free society than is currently envisaged. The team integrated new genetic data from more than 300 individuals, with extensive datasets including bone studies, radiocarbon dates, burial context and dietary data. Studying the genetic links between more than 250 Neolithic individuals has shown that a Neolithic group known as the linear pottery culture expanded over hundreds of miles in just a few generations. Researchers showed that distant relatives existed in Slovakia, Western Germany and Hungary, and that studies of grave sites showed no differences in the food they ate, the grave goods they were buried with, or their origins. This included finding no difference between the graves of men and women, suggesting that the burial sites were not marked out by differences in the role of men and women had in society, or on the basis of where their relatives were originally from. Professor Penny Bickle from the University of York said, "In recent years our perception of Neolithic communities has started to change due to greater analysis of grave sites, but our new genetic data is another piece of the puzzle that sheds more light not just on the work of these communities, but their relationship to each other, as well as their similarities to the way modern humans build communities today. We can now see how important broader family relationships were. In a triple burial, long thought to be a mother and two children, for example, we have shown she was their paternal aunt. The three are buried close together, with her arms placed embracing the children in a distinct act of care. We also know from the items left in grave sites, such as stone tools and pottery, that women played a much more active role in farming work than previously thought, and that some women travelled more than men, whilst women in other areas stayed closer at home, showing a more dynamic community than we perhaps thought possible. The new genetic data also added more questions to the mystery surrounding the demise of linear pottery culture, which came to an end around 5000 BC. One hypothesis was that it was a period of violence, with one notable event being the massacre of Aspam-Schletz in Austria, where more than 100 individuals were recovered from a ditch system, with skeletons displaying multiple fractures. The new study, however, showed that fewer than 10 of these skeletons were genetically related, challenging the idea that this act of violence was suddenly and brutally enacted on a single community. Remains include a high number of children and not many young women, opening up the debate as to what this act of violence meant near the end of this society's lifespan. Professor Bickle said, "The massacre site raises many questions and more work will need to be done on this event to get closer to an answer, but it is interesting to contrast this idea of equal and free societies with this brutal act, knowing that most of the victims were not related to each other. Could they have been selected from a larger community and transported? Were the young women present but not killed or held captive elsewhere? Why children as well as adults? The mystery remains." End quote. Professor Bickle is currently investigating the lives of women in the Neolithic, looking at views on gender in the past, and a statement says, showing that women's role in society and how they were valued changed as farming moved across Europe. The professor added, "Our research shows that conceptions of gender have always been dynamic across different cultural contexts, with no one single impact as societies adopted farming and settled down." The research is published in the journal Nature Human Behaviour. But that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly subscribe. And you can also support the channel on Subscribestar via the link in the description or via YouTube Super Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.